Hello and welcome to Quackalope. Thank you for being here. Today we are telling you why you should be playing Cockroach Poker Royal and not regular Cockroach Poker. Is that accurate?
Yeah, pretty much.
Or just why you should be playing Cockroach Poker in general. And along with that, this video is going to be dual-purposed. You see, we just got done filming a really good gameplay
That was really awesome.
of Cockroach Poker.
That was really awesome.
But it's not going to be here on this channel. Jan, it's going to be over on Quackalope.
Si, señor.
Which is Jan's channel that he hosts. That is a Spanish channel. But it's not just a Spanish channel, Jan. Like, what are we trying to do over there and here at the same time?
En español o inglés?
Inglés.
Okay. So one of the things that we want to do, one of the multiple things that we want to do in the Spanish channel is that we want to bridge borders in a certain way. We want to try and make Spanish games or just Spanish communities to interact with other nationalities. Like right now would be American nationalities, right?
It's interesting because, so you actually do speak fluent Spanish. You lived in Argentina for multiple years.
Yep.
I know a little bit of Spanish. My girlfriend for a time was from Bolivia. I picked up some of the important things like tú eres muy bonita, yo soy muy gordo. You know, a little bit. Like he is beautiful.
The essentials.
I am fat. So I know enough to be open to the conversation, but not enough to be functional or fluent. And we just got done testing the waters and playing a really, really fun gameplay of Cockroach Poker. One that I think you, if you don't speak Spanish, would enjoy.
Yep.
And the reason being is because this is a language-independent game. This is a game that bridges gaps, a game where you could go down and sit down with a group of people and have very limited... I mean, if you're traveling through South America, if you have friends or family who are potentially like immigrants into the country who maybe aren't as fluent in one of the two languages, this game right here allows you to bridge gaps. So over there in Quackalope, we're doing two things. First off, working to bridge those narratives, working across those lines, and then also leaning into nerd culture around this, you know, for the Spanish-speaking community, right? Because he's also a big, full-fledged nerd, and so if you are fluent in Spanish, there's going to be plenty of content that is not just light games, family-focused. There's going to be a lot of stuff there that's just celebrating what you already enjoy.
The universality of games in general.
Absolutely. Sure. That being said, and link to the gameplay is going to be at the very top of this video description, and to help that channel out, to help push and promote and grow what we're working to do, swing over there and subscribe. I mean, genuinely, if you like what we're doing here on Quackalope, that is 100% part of what we're working on.
Bueno, y lo más importante es que va a haber más de mí.
No, never mind. Do not go subscribe. I need all of you here.
Lo más importante es que estoy yo.
Sean está en el canal.
All
He's
that
on
being
there.
said,
He's on there.
This video is going to do two things. First, let's have a conversation around Cockroach Poker,
Yes, sir.
what we think about it, why we should play it, and then finally, for those of you that want to bridge this or want to understand the gameplay that we just posted, Jan's going to teach you how to say all of the different animals in Spanish at the end of this video. So if you want to pause, if you want to wait till the end and write them down or take notes, that's all you need to know
to play with
to
Spanish
functionally play
people.
this game, because there's also a how to play video over on Quackalope, meaning you can play that how to play video, and then you can sit down and you can enjoy a frickin' game, which at the end of the day is the whole reason we're part of this community.
100%.
Cockroach Poker. Cockroach Poker is
so fun.
Well, what is it?
So it is a bluffing game, a card-based bluffing game with a really strange conceit. Basically, you're trying to deconstruct your hand. You're trying to have the least cards in front of you by the end of the game.
I suck at bluffing.
There's only ever going to be one loser around the table. And so you're going to be passing cards from your hand, claiming things like it's a rat, it's a frog, it's a toad, and they have to look you dead in the eye and figure out if you're telling the truth, both from information they have already around the table, what's already been revealed,
Apparently,
what they have
Jesse
in their
can
hand.
see into our very souls.
That was scary.
Or they have to look at the card and pass it on to another player. Now, a lot of people are familiar with this, and I'd say this is probably one of the best bluffing games in the business, so if you're not, and if you have any inclination or any desire to play an amazing party-style, family-style bluffing game, this is a no-brainer. The value for dollar is insane.
It's amazing.
But here's the other thing that I titled this video as. I said something along the lines of why Cockroach Poker is outdated and Royal is the new king.
Oh, is that the title?
I don't know what the title is yet, but trust me, Royal introduces something so good.
And yet so simple at the same time.
It brings in a class of 7 different characters that have dual purpose. I could pass this to you and say, it's a bat. I could lie about what it is, or I could say this is a Royal. And then the game changes. Because you see, if you add that to your hand,
If I say, no, this was not a bat, and it ends up being a royal, I have to take a card from the penalty
Twofer.
pile immediately into my tableau or my set collection.
There are 7 royals in the game, and there's going to be a pile of 7 cards that no one really knows entirely what they are in the center. This adds a little bit of unknown information into a bluffing game that is all about percentages, and it also introduces a new threat and a new bluffing mechanic to play the line on. This is 100%.
Well, it enhances that second bluff.
Yeah.
So when you take it and you say it's not a royal, but it's a rat...
It's so good.
It just adds that
Yeah.
much more tenseness into the entire dynamic. It's insane.
The other 2 things that will be introduced here are going to be 2 specific cards. First, one that is always wrong, that if you take it back into your hand, whoever receives it has to play cards based off of what they claimed it was, which could force someone to, let's say, play that 4th card into a pile, or a card that is never a royal, meaning if you claim it is...
You're going to be in for a really bad time.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rough road. So that's
it.
an
Those are the
overview of the
changes.
game. It's a very simple game. Initial thoughts. This is the first time you'd ever played it.
Yeah, I'd never played the original.
Oh.
Yeah, so I'd never played it at all.
Are you stealing this one from Jan?
Maybe I should take it back home with me. I mean, I drove all the way from Kentucky.
That
Is
true.
that a bluff?
I enjoyed it. I personally am terrible at bluffing.
That is true. You were pretty bad.
Thank you. my family loves
Oh, were you
Skull
bluffing
King.
there?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, no.
Oh, that was really good.
My family loves Skull King because I always lose. Always.
So this would be another one of those.
This would be another one that I will always lose. I don't get it.
But you do have fun
You
playing.
could put brass Birmingham on the table, and I will play it and do fairly well.
let me
I
ask you
can't
this.
play. I had fun. Yes.
Did you have fun playing it?
100%.
And let me ask you the most important question. Would your family enjoy this?
Oh,
game?
they would love it.
They would absolutely, right?
Oh, yeah.
Right? Jan, your experience with it. Because this is the first time you've
Your
actually
uncanny
played...
ability to guess what we had every freaking time.
Oh, I'm very charming. Jan, your sense of Cockroach Poker and Cockroach Poker Royal, because you had played the older one, and now you've actually been able to own and play the newest version.
You stink bug? You're a stink bug?
No, I believe...
Yes, this is Jesse.
I believe that is...
That's a reference to the video. I was also in the same camp as Sean.
Okay.
I had not played the original. I have heard a lot of the
games.
It's a large camp.
I'm okay at bluffing games.
I hear you.
I'm really good at bluffing games.
Yeah.
I fallen in love with this. Like the first time that we ever kind of engaged with this game, like the premise of it, was actually on a live show of the podcast where we just kind of like, for
concept of
funsies, started claiming out random names. And from there, I was quite intrigued with the idea of this bluffing game because I love having small, accessible titles that I can bring to the table anytime and have anybody, basically in any language,
Cockroach
be able to
Poker
play.
may be my favorite small box game.
It is definitely one of those that it is just always a fantastic time, no matter when you pull it out.
I always end up belly laughing. I always do, and I've got a lot.
That's
of
a very
belly
different.
I've got a lot of belly to laugh with.
That's a very different type of laugh.
Yeah,
That's a good laugh.
it is. It's a chortle. It's a chortle. It's like
Just
a
jiggling.
Santa laugh. Oh, it's beautiful. Here's the thing: Cockroach Poker is a gem of the game. The base game is absolutely amazing, but now that I've played Royal,
Yeah, you don't have to go back.
there's a degree of bluffing there that it adds into the mix where I would introduce new players to this game. I would introduce family to this game. I would bring this game to the table every single time. And the new introduction, the extra added mechanics makes it a game that I don't think Cockroach Poker would have been, I would have dared to say a phrase of, I think it's my favorite small box game.
Sure.
Royal, I really think it might be. At least right now, I can't think of another game I'd rather get to the table with anywhere from 3 to 6 people.
Yeah, exactly. And I think can you even play this with less? Yeah, you can even play this with 2. I don't recommend it.
It's
at
not
2.
the best.
Right.
Yeah, I don't recommend it at 2,
It's
but
like
you
just
could.
blind bluffing back and forth.
Right.
Exactly.
You know, and
Exactly.
then you're just living your day-to-day life.
No, I feel that definitely the mechanics that this brings elevates the bluffing a little bit.
Yeah.
So if you're intimidated by bluffing games in general and you want something that's a little bit more simplified, you're not going to go wrong with standard
You're not.
Cockroach Poker.
You're not.
However, if
But
you're
you
a
might.
gamer,
You might.
if
No,
you're around,
if you're anyone, Cockroach
Sure.
Poker's outdated. Royal's going to be the.
that's
gonna
that's,
be
no
that's
ifs,
the
ands, or
title.
buts.
that actually might be the title.
That's the
Cockroach
title.
Poker's outdated.
Oh Lord.
Oh, we're gonna make some enemies.
Antiquated.
All that
Obsolete.
being said, Jan, I think we've talked a lot about this game that we genuinely find incredible.
Awesome. Are we going to play now?
You have we might. You have a full Spanish how to play.
We do.
So if you have friends or you have people that you want to play this game with potentially who aren't fluent in English, like this rule book, if the version that we own is, we're going to teach you enough to play the game in their language. Click on that video over on Quackalope, and Jan, let's go through the different types of creatures that we have.
Ooh, okay, so this time I have to talk in English, but then translate to Spanish.
You do. It's going to be way more complicated.
Okay.
Flip the
I am
switch.
very grateful that I'm not multilingual.
Yep.
Just
Yes.
remember what that one is.
El Chinche, Jesse.
And for the record, I'm working on becoming moderately more multilingual.
So the first thing I want to do is make sure that we have all the animals in front of us so that we can start translating them. I believe that this is it. So let's go one by one. And one of the things that we'll do is that we'll also kind of try and give you translations at least for the royal cards. And we're going to go from the very tippy top. You'll notice here that there's a small table, so we're going to go from left to right.
And I use that a lot to continually reference. If you want an aid for playing this game, pop out a little graph and write down the Spanish word for each one of those.
Well, actually, our rule book actually has German translations. I believe it's German for each one of the cards. I'm not. Don't quote.
That
me
doesn't
on
help us here.
Sure. Okay. So let's go for Spanish.
It does help.
The rules are in
Germans.
French.
Oh, French. French.
Yeah, that's
French.
French.
It helps the French as well.
So, the first
another
card that we're going to
channel.
have here is going to be a royal card. The way that you translate that is by saying real. La
Very
tarjeta
similar.
real.
Yep.
Right? There are certain letters that will always match up. And you'll notice that throughout Spanish, sometimes there's very similar translations to it. It's all part of it. So the next card that we have here on the table is going to be a little bit different. So in English, this is obviously a stink bug. In Spanish, it's actually going to be translated to chinche.
Or a Jan.
Thank you, Sean. Thank you. The next card that we have here, I think you've heard this song before.
La
La
cucaracha.
cucaracha, la cucaracha. I don't remember anything else.
That's all that
I
everybody
think
remembers.
that's how it goes.
So cockroach, cucaracha, right? The next one, there is a little bit of similarity here.
A rata.
Rat,
Yeah.
rata. You're just adding an A to the end.
Now, for most of the game, I was using esta. What does esta mean?
Esta es una rata.
I know, but that's more complicated. I was just
Esta
saying
is just
esta.
this.
So this
This
rat. So
this
a
rat.
very aggressively simplified way would be esta rata.
Esta rata.
Or you could just say rata.
Exactly.
That is well.
The correct phrase there would be, this is a rat, would be, esta es una rata.
Esta es una rata. Or
This-
esta es la cucaracha.
Correcto.
Sí.
Yeah, correcto. So, esto es una rata. Rat. Okay? So, the next one we're going to have here, and I always get this one confused. Rana?
Rana, I believe, is frog.
Perfect.
And sapo is toad.
Toad. Correct.
So-
We were using rana for
Frog.
the game.
We were
Yes.
kind of jumping around.
Yeah.
So, frog, rana. Okay? Another one that's a little bit different. Next, we're going to have another one that's very different as well. Fly, mosca.
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 I think almost like mosquito.
Correcto.
When
Yeah.
I'm thinking about that, mosca.
Mosquito is actually mosquito in Spanish, which is, I think, is written the exact same, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. No, there's an E at the end of mosquito, right?
Not in English.
We just kind of
Oh,
throw E's around here.
Okay. Besides me not knowing how to actually write words, the next one is going to be...
We're also from Kentucky, so don't take our word for it.
My name's Jesse. I believe both my E's are silent.
So the next one that we have is a bat. And this one's... I think this is kind of like one of the most complicated. Murciélago.
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 Yep, correct.
That was probably one of the hardest ones for me to directly remember.
That's a tough word.
Yeah, that is. It's a much more compound. Like, it has a lot of vowels in there.
Yeah.
Anyways, the final one is going to be scorpion, which in Spanish is translated to alacrán.
Alacrán.
And there's a little song that goes, el alacrán, el alacrán te va a picar, el alacrán. Either way, alacrán. And then I think from there we can kind of keep these. These are just very custom options. I'm not sure if we actually need a translation. You have learned part of the animal kingdom in Spanish.
And of course you'll use, classic terminology. I think most people are familiar with no and si.
Correct.
And then if you were going to be playing or agreeing or disagreeing, what are the specific phrases you'd use for saying I agree with you or I don't agree with you? I was using like no rata, si rata.
Yeah, that could work. You could also say like I believe you or I don't believe you. So I believe you, te creo. I don't believe you, no te creo.
Okay.
That's very simple and very straightforward.
Te creo, no te creo.
No te creo.
Okay.
Yeah, and that could work very easily.
Any other things that we should introduce here for people who might be able to table this?
In terms of Spanish, no, I think honestly,
it's functionally right here.
Correct. This is everything you need. If you ever want to know what to call a deck of cards, you could say mazo, and that's it. And like honestly, you're pretty ready to go. It's gonna be broken Spanish,
Of course.
Hey, if you do it in a like a sexy accent, you can start impressing your friends.
That's true as well.
La rana.
Here's the thing. I believe learning a language for me has to be fun.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Right? And so sitting down, utilizing it, playing it a game, like this will not be the last time that you see us do a full gameplay in broken Spanish on my part and fluid Spanish on yours.
Yeah.
Because the concept isn't the idea of one subsect or one group away. Like I right now feel like I could go hang out with a group of people who don't speak English and get far enough to tell them how to play this game with your how to play video and then sit down and have an hour of fun.
Sure.
I went back to Bolivia where I only had one person with me that spoke fluent English. I had a little translation dictionary, and I was living with a group of people that, with the family that had 5 or 6 people that spoke no English at all. And this would have been something I could have pulled out to the table.
Oh, 100%.
And everyone around the table would have been able to bond around that.
Just laughing.
Right? And that's so cool to me. So, that being said, thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this journey with us. And remember, Cockroach Poker, it's outdated.